Welcome to UnityNow, the podcast where we discuss Unity, stemming from the Unity 2020 plan with one goal in mind: bring Unity to America. This podcast is created, produced, hosted, recorded, edited, and publicized by a wonderful team of Unity volunteers that came together from all over the country to collaborate in a remote environment.
Welcome to the UnityNow Christmas special with all of our lovely UnityNow team members. Hey guys.
Hello, Toby.
Hey, Toby.
Hey!
So I'm Toby, one of our co-hosts, and we're just going to go around the room and introduce ourselves.
I'm Gabe Garber, another one of the co-hosts.
Cohort.
Yeah.
He's a cohort.
I'm Kimberly. I'm one of the co-leads and one of the producers.
I'm Todd Neeson. I'm in charge of the audio and finding guests and doing other various things.
I'm Joe Masnick, and I'm the newest member of the team and still finding out my niche, but hopefully helping out. So we made it, the holiday episode.
Yeah. Looking festive, everyone.
Oh, thank you. My wife got me these PJs.
Oh, your PJs.
Oh, yeah. No, you gotta wear PJs with multi-pattern on it. Look at that. It goes all the way down to my toes.
I didn't think this was a PJ episode. I thought it was a festive stress-up episode.
Well, these PJs are about as Christmas-like pattern as I can get, so.
Is that a onesie?
No, gosh, I wish. It's a two-piece, but it's a little revealing. It's a little deep cut, so I had to wear a shirt underneath.
Thanks for getting dressed today, Joe.
Oh, you're welcome.
As long as you're comfortable.
So I guess we're coming to the end of the year. What was everybody's favorite part of Unity Now podcast? Does anybody have like a blooper or fun like story to share?
Something that we can say out loud.
We can always flag these as explicit. Remember that.
Oh, yes.
That's right.
Or I could like put a little gingerbread man over somebody's face and beep it out.
Oh, that's right. I would say some of my favorite times is when Todd says at the end of our meetings, he'll rank things in order of crappiness. So there's a hierarchy of crappiness, he says. And then he'll enumerate. He's normally talking about sound.
I think all the time I'm talking about sound. Yeah, that makes me laugh too.
Are you saving these to the end of the meeting, Todd?
Oh, the level of crappiness?
Yeah, the rundowns.
Oh, boy. Well, let's see. I think our very first episode when Nick was hosting, that might be number one of the top 10 crappy sounding. Oh, and that was, I think it was also Toby's mic or Toby's camera kept on freezing. So we went with audio only for Toby.
Yeah, that's where we learned that I have to run a 200-foot cord down the hallway, down the stairs, across the main room to the router, or this will skip out all the time through a meeting. Yep.
It's a learning experience.
Yeah.
I'm sure your whole family loves when you go running through the house with your cord, Toby.
Yeah, I get the, when are you going to pick up this damn cord? I get that I get that question the day after or the night after. So every time I record an episode, I have to run this cord, and then that's the fallout afterwards all the time. The damn cord, yeah.
My first time I had exposure for the Unity Now podcast was when I was on it with Megan and you, Toby.
Yeah.
And we had mic troubles then too, but still it was a blast. Like even though it might have ranked on Todd's crappy list, I think that it was one of probably my favorite Unity memories it was like August or something like that. It was end of summer, but yeah, it was a blast. It was really fun. So hopefully I get another chance to be on it again and maybe not have too many sound issues.
What do you mean? You're on it every time now.
I know, right now, but I'm the Christmas episode. I'm like the holiday episode. I'm the guy they pull in just to add faces to the screen.
You're in the credits, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you talk about setting up this podcast and we were all remote from the get-go, we never had a studio. That episode, Joe, when you popped in and you had your clear high-def camera and your nice background that was kind of like a newsroom, I said, oh, crap, I got to step up my background and lighting game. And I was looking for virtual environments for like a week, and I still never found one that was as nice as that.
Well, thank you. We were trying to put together something like a daily, and I was working hard to fit all that together, and I was just one-man armying it, basically. I had no help on anything. So it came together nice, but it was right before the pause, it coalesced. And then I was like, oh, I guess just move on to the next project. So,
Right.
But unlike UnityNow, though, is just like kept chugging through. And like, if you go back and look at clips, it's just been getting better and better, like every episode, which is wonderful. So I'm glad to be on the team because it seems like the winning team.
Oh, good. I hope so.
We love having you, Joe.
Oh, anybody else with any fun memories? Maybe ones that I missed because I'm the newest newbie that ever noobed.
Another one. Well, of course, it's all about me. But kind of going back to the crappiest sounding episode with Nick. Before we even had a chance to really fix that, I think Nick was only on maybe another episode or maybe an episode after that.
Just another one, yeah.
Yeah, and I reached out to help me out. I'm spacing.
Nope, you're on your own.
Female or male?
Male.
Zach?
Zach, thank you. God. This is what happens.
Man, he's
but I
only
reached
been
out-
gone for like a couple weeks.
I know. And he's going to watch this, and he's going to go, ugh.
Oh, man.
I love Zach. But, I found him in the Slack, and I reached out and saw that he had podcast experience. And I said, would you be willing to, like, at least sit in or at least, like, take over for a couple episodes before, I think Nick was also, like, in the middle of
There was a
tropical
power
storm.
outage.
New job.
Yeah.
power outages and new
And
job
new
and all
job,
that
yeah.
stuff like that. So we got Zach in. Thank goodness. I mean, he stepped up and was able to do it and everything like that. But fast forward several episodes, and he had to do a little voiceover stuff for another episode, and he screwed up something. And he just let out this like blah, which was like kind of out of character for him, and it's just so funny. And so I clipped it, and I thought, oh, we got to use this somewhere, because it's just so funny. So for those of you podcast listeners that actually make it all the way to the end of the podcast, at the end of the music, that blah is at the end. So that's Zach Rhodes going blah. So that's your little Easter egg. So that I know it sounds so stupid, but that's something that brings a smile to my face every time. So that's a high point, I think.
Easter egg for Christmas.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite moments is when we hit some really interesting guests. Not that every guest isn't interesting, but like that we had Cody from Facebook, or had just left Facebook, and I remember Eric got to interview him, and after I watched that, I said, Eric, I'm jealous. I wanted to be able to talk to that guy too, and then Zach Rhodes, he was able to get Michael Shermer on, which that was the first guest. I was like, I know that guy. I've seen him on other podcasts. Like, he's been on Rogan before, so that was a big one, and that may speak to the Google censorship of us. Who knows? Because his episode still can't get that many views for whatever reason. But yeah, I think that was fun. And so yeah, Zach helped a lot there.
And he may not be done. I think he's chimed in and said he'd like to help out in some other capacity in the future. and we can't wait to get him back in any capacity he is available to give us. He's good people. We're all good people.
Right?
Well, for the most part.
We're dedicated, committed people, Todd, because Todd is also known as the seeker for me, because he'll go out into the wild and find these wonderfully talented people and bring them in. So he's my little Santa.
Oh. It's a sense of
Sweet.
desperation. We need to get something. It's like, we need to do something.
Got to do something about these lists.
Now, they'll remain nameless, but we've invited people in to work on the podcast. We say, look around and read all of our notes and see how we do things. And then they kind of disappear. So it's not for everyone.
Yeah, and it's some they'll jump in a meeting or participate in an episode and then gone, or a couple have said, "Yeah, I want to join. What can I do?" We say here, and we invite them into our Slack channel, and they're gone before they even say a word or join a meeting. So yeah, it's a smattering of things, and I'm sure, I would say most of those people probably just had a personal thing that grabbed them and pulled them away. We always talk about how hard this is as a volunteer effort to put dedicated time into it, because we all have a job or work or family that's pulling us. So that's another way it's so surprising and mesmerizing every time that we see each other, that we're able to do this, and we've been able to do it now since, I don't know, whenever we started.
Like years ago.
Last year. Almost last year now.
Oh, yeah. Wow. Yeah, you guys have been at it for a while. I mean, and I can see how people, though, would, like, you time commitment wise, because that even in Unity proper, like, where, not that you're not Unity proper, but like with even, putting together social media posts, like, people would come and go, life pulls in all directions. And it's not like 2020 has gotten any crazier, or actually less crazy than it was back, in the middle of the year. So, but hey, at least we got the holidays to look forward to now. Does anybody have any holiday traditions that are like really wild, or I guess just something you got to do, even though you can't really go anywhere right now? Or at least I can't.
Well, we do, Joe. That's a good question. You can see from my background that my family embraces the decoration part of the holidays, and our 14-year-old is our light designer. So if you can just imagine, there's tasteful white lights all along our street, and then you get to our house, and we have multicolor LED because they're the brightest. They're programmed, of course, so they light up different trees, and some sparkle and some don't. And then there's, of course, your collection of inflatables, because, they just bring the joy of Christmas out. And yeah, just imagine that. And that might be my house.
Is that synchronized to music, Kimberly?
No, but I'm pretty sure next year's will be.
He needs to get... Go ahead, Todd.
Because I have that program. I actually, for Christmas last year, or maybe the year before, I got all the hardware and gave it to Elise as a Christmas present, because there's a couple places here in Burbank that do that. And it's really slick. You, like, drive by the house, and you can, like, tune in to that FM station.
Yeah.
And, everything's synchronized. And, of course, like, I watch and I go, I could do better than that. That's slightly off. And, the kick drum should be doing this over here, and the snare should be doing this over here, and whatnot. But I have to admit that I am so PC, and I don't mean politically correct. I mean personal computer. Personal computer illiterate, and it's harder and harder for me to learn that kind of stuff. And so I've tried several times, and I just hit dead ends. I get frustrated. So as soon as they come out with a Mac version to do all that programming, I'm on board.
There.
I am so there.
Well, it's a family tradition. My grandmother was born an orphan in the hills of Kentucky. So their Christmas consisted of an orange and a new pair of shoes that they had to wear to the next Christmas. So when she broke out of her schooling and became a nurse and went to Dallas, Texas is where she ended up. She had an acre yard and she filled the entire thing up with decorations, and every tree, her house, Santa, Mrs. Claus, all the reindeers, all life size, of course. And people would stop and look at her lights, and we would go out into the yard and be dressed as reindeer or Santa and wave. So
That's amazing that you started out as an orphan, and now look at you got the whole background going, and you got the light show outside. That's pretty cool.
no, I didn't start as the orphan.
No,
My
but like
grandmother
the family line did. Like you,
oh yes,
the comeuppance, because I mean, it's not too long ago that maybe, well, for some of us, I know my grandpa or my great grandpa was an immigrant, zero stuff, nothing, and then every generation, Christmas got a little bit more, hey, we got to celebrate, get more lights. And it seems like they just keep on carrying over. So yeah, it's just inspiring to hear more stories like that around the holiday season. So,
and what's kind of fun in Oxnard, where we have our vacation home, which is right next to the water, what they do around Christmas is Santa comes in the form of a sleigh, and he's actually up there in the air, and he's being towed by a helicopter.
Oh wow!
Whoa! So if the weather patterns are just right, the helicopter's far enough up where you can't see it, but you see the sleigh. Of course, you hear the helicopter, which is kind of the problem, but it's pretty slick.
That's really cool.
That's amazing.
That's awesome.
I would believe.
Yeah, I'm heavy into the lights as well, and my wife calls me, Clark Griswold, and
Oh, that's funny.
and we've got a bunch of blow-ups and all the lights, but they're not synchronized, and so we drove around neighborhoods this past Saturday, and my wife found this map that could take you to all these houses that somebody had collected the best of these neighborhoods, and the first neighborhood had 3 houses like that, Todd, where they had the lights synchronized to an FM station, and 2 of them were outstanding, and one of them had like a smiley face at the bottom window and 2 eyes up in upper windows that like the whole face looked like it was singing the songs.
Oh, that's awesome.
As well as the lights around the yard. And that's not even the one we wanted to see. My wife has a high school friend who built his own entire light display. He's a programmer, and he's programmed this whole big thing, and he built a website where you can see the 60 songs that'll play to his lights, and you can select the next song, and it's a huge show. He's got a Facebook page dedicated to it and everything. So I saw this year, and I said, man, I got to step my game up, because I'm not a proper Clark Griswold until I can, have people driving by my house, on purpose.
Until you can pull down the power grid in your neighborhood. You're not.
That's right. Or if you've seen the Geico commercial, you can see the astronauts seeing my house from space.
I feel like you could take it to the next level if you incorporate some live drumming, Toby.
On the lawn.
Yeah, to get some like MIDI controller set up and with the drum set, so everything kind of syncs up with the lights. It could be done.
That's true.
There you go.
You take it to that next level.
That's funny. Yeah, I'll look at that. And I saw these light projectors too. Have you guys seen these projectors that you can put in a window? And so it's like a movie scene, Santa and his elves and all that. So got to get one of those too.
Oh yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, when we went out to get one more inflatable, because we had a whole, only we can see this, there was nothing left. We went out and everyone's bought holiday decorations. I have neighbors that have never put them up, and they are up. So I'm really excited about Christmas. Everyone's kind of like, hey, I'm home. I'm going to make it festive.
Yeah, well, we've seen the same thing. What about you guys?
Yeah, it's pretty aggressive on my block, like because people we caught a warm December and a warm November, warmer than usual, and so people would put up their lights, but then they're like, well, we got like 5 weeks till Christmas, the next weekend you can put up a little bit more, and a little bit more, because you can't really go anywhere. So all that travel budget, all that food budget that you normally have has been just basically been pouring into exterior illumination. So, and I know that's the case for me too. Like I was like, hey, you know what? That tree could use a few lights, like the next weekend. Like I could, put all that on the fence and light it up. And it's just gotten a little out of hand. But I mean, what else are you going to do if you're trying to abide by the rules of not going anywhere? So, but it's been fun, at least in my neighborhood.
Do you guys make cookies for Christmas or Hanukkah?
I eat them. That's my contribution.
Yeah. To make sure they're gone so other people don't gorge.
One of the traditions that we have is that we take our nieces. Well, we used to take our nieces out to look at all the Christmas lights and all the homes, and there's a few homes, like I said, that have the synchronized music and everything. And of course, one of our favorites is one of the houses is synchronized to the barking dog jingle bells, which the girls thought was just hysterical when they were 3, 4, 5. Now they're 11 and 15. It's not so funny, but we still do that. But getting to your point about eating cookies, then after that we make gingerbread houses together, and we've made it a competition the last couple of years. I don't participate in the competition part. I do all the setup. I make the houses before they get there, so you don't have to wait for the houses to set and everything. But then the 3 gals do their decorations, and then after that we take it to our big family get together, and they all get to vote on the best gingerbread house. And one year the youngest one actually won, so that was really good. But getting to the fast forward part of that, like most people don't actually eat the gingerbread houses after they are made. They're great with coffee.
Oh, yeah.
What's that?
Can't let it go to waste.
Waste not, want not, right? And I'm telling you, even like the most stale, hard gingerbread house pieces, dunk that in some coffee, you're good to go.
Crumble them up, sprinkle it on some vanilla ice cream.
I didn't even think of that, Gabe. That's perfect.
Come on. That's like first thing that comes to mind.
I love it.
101.
The UnityNow eating segment.
I mean, if we
I could talk about some food now.
Yeah, if we want to talk about holidays, like that's the spirit of my family's holiday traditions. It's, completely food centric. And like my mom's side of the family, Cajun Creole, grew up in Southeast Texas and Louisiana, and so Christmas Eve we would always go to my granny and papa's house and my granny would cook a seafood gumbo. And so when my family moved to Indiana, my mom just carried that on. So that's always been the case. So we might end up we're not sure if we're planning on making the trip to see them. We didn't end up going to Thanksgiving, and in lieu of that, we ended up arranging like a handoff of food so that we could all enjoy it. But otherwise, I think I might have to take up the tradition and figure out a way to get it done here.
I say you do.
Cook the roux and make some gumbo, do some cookies and all of that. I hadn't really given it much thought, but yeah.
You have 10 days.
Yeah, say.
And then then there's the 12 days Christmas after that.
Yeah, my 6-year-old this morning moved the advent calendar over, and he said 10 days. And I said it is not, and he was angry. He said, it is too. It's next week. Yeah, so get on it, Gabe.
Fair. We do have some holly boughs kind of scattered. It's quite minimal, but it's a good touch, I think. And our neighborhood is kind of minimal as well. Seems like mostly interior that can be like seen through windows and stuff. I did just pick up some of the fake candles, LED candles, but these I had never seen, and they actually looked cheaper at first. But the little flame is an actual separate piece that's dangling on like a fishing wire kind of thing, and some type of magnet is hanging at the bottom, so when it turns on it actually flickers with just like air and Like, I don't know. It's a nice look. It
Wow.
works.
Nice.
Oh, that's
Where did you get the holly bushes?
At a grocery store.
Okay.
I think. Yeah.
Are you selling those or something, Kimberly?
I just was wondering if he went outside and just got a few.
Snuck away.
It would
Because I have a
that'd
holly
be
bush
fitting,
outside.
yeah.
You're welcome to it, Gabe.
Because if you haven't seen Kimberly on my podcast, she goes into how she started her first business selling mistletoe.
That's
Texas.
right. I heard that. You are
Yeah.
one entrepreneur there.
Well, I had to make some money.
gotta do what you gotta do.
I like that. That's so great. No allowances. Make your own money.
Now, Toby, you mentioned earlier Griswold. Holiday movies. What's everybody watching? What's the required viewing?
Oh, geez, yeah. Well, the Christmas Vacation, It's a Wonderful Life. So we have a smattering of ones that aren't Christmas related, but we watch them at Christmas time, like Harry Potter. We'll watch that entire series around Christmas time. Yeah, what else, guys?
Well, yeah.
I have to watch The Grinch.
Yep.
Sorry.
Oh,
Which
yeah.
version?
Which one? There's like 4 of them now.
I know, and I love them all, except the newest animated is now my favorite.
That's good.
Really?
The full
That's
length.
a good one, yeah.
I've not watched it.
I keep trying to get my family to watch that one because I know it's good, but they're like, no, Jim Carrey version or nothing. I'm like, can't even watch the classic, and I'm just like, okay, I'm shoehorned in here for a while until I can maybe rally one of the kids to my side when they're a little bit older.
What's the specific title on the newest one? Or is it still just The Grinch, or is there some way to distinguish it? Because I haven't seen it either, but I would.
There's some way to distinguish it with. It looks like the classic cartoon, but it's got it's computer skinned. So it
Like
looks,
Pixar.
Yeah, it looks like a Pixar thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
They might have just dropped the and it's just Grinch or something like that. So
Cool. I'll have to check it. We always would do like Elf in the modern vein. Grew up with like Santa Claus, Home Alone 2.
Home Alone. Yep.
Yeah.
my family was always a Die Hard was Christmas movie.
Oh, that's a good one.
Controversial.
It is?
Well, whether or not it's a Christmas movie.
Big debate.
Well,
Yeah.
I
The
always
debate.
Todd may back me up on this one, but you got to look at the soundtrack. It's all Christmas music.
Oh, yeah.
It's all every little sound effect
That is
is
true.
jingle bells. Like it's at a Christmas party.
Yeah.
It's very hard. I would love to have an hour-long debate with somebody about how it's not and it is a Christmas movie.
Yeah.
Oh.
I don't have
Yeah, I like
a stake in the ground in either side.
You first have to define what is a Christmas movie,
Ooh.
right?
Good call, Toby.
Because that one has, like you said, soundtrack, and it occurs at Christmas time. But other than that, is it uplifting, or is there a heartwarming message?
Not if you're a European terrorist.
Well,
No.
Heartwarming there.
Home Alone is another one where it takes place at Christmas, but nothing, it would have the same argument.
Yeah,
It's not really a Christmas movie.
it's about
It
an
takes
8-year-old
place-
being able to survive by himself.
Yeah.
And isn't there parts of Trading Places that takes place during the winter?
Yes, Trading Places takes place between Thanksgiving and I think New Year's, because when they're on the train at the end, it's New Year's Eve, and then the days afterwards. So it's a holiday movie. It's about a holiday movie as Harry Potter is a holiday movie.
Yeah.
If we're talking funny,
True.
planes, trains, and automobiles.
Oh yeah,
It's the
that's
funniest stinking Christmas movie in the world.
well. I thought it was a Thanksgiving movie, but I could be wrong. I do know they're
Well,
remaking.
whatever, holiday movie. It's hilarious.
See, now she just expanded the bounds of the
I know, right?
conversation.
But they are remaking it with Will Smith and Kevin Hart, I think.
Oh,
okay.
it'd be funny.
Well, we'll
Oh
see.
man,
Oh, I love it. They can redo it.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
no, because like if you watch Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, there are things just like don't exist anymore, or that exist, like
yeah.
cell phones. Like it's very hard to like watch an old movie. It's like, oh yeah, they don't have cell phones. Like
Yeah.
the internet doesn't exist. Like,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. How are they going to get around all that? Can't you just look it up? It'll be like, we're jammed or 5G is down.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's like Home Alone. You would have like a Nest Cam or whatever. You know, they'd have cameras in the house. Be like, oh, he's fine.
Yeah.
Movie over.
Well, that's why I think it's fun to like remake movies or redo them within reason, mind you, because it gives you that chance to kind of update the story to the modern, tone. They did that with like Christmas Carol in the 80s. They did Scrooge with Bill Murray. I thought that was hilarious. It's one of my favorite Christmas movies.
Yeah.
But yeah, I Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, great movie. Definitely, I'll go see the updates for sure.
There was a documentary on Elf. I'm trying to think it was on Hulu or Apple Plus or one of those streaming things, and it was really interesting. And it's actually written by a Jewish guy, but he loved like those old Rankin Bass holiday movies, and so that's what he was kind of going for. And I guess he had lost his father at an early age, and so he never had a chance to meet his real father or to bond with him. So it was all about that, and it was a really interesting documentary if you're interested in it. And how like they what's his name? Will Ferrell was not a big star at the time, so they thought like, well, why are we putting this guy in here? he can't lead an entire film, and it just took off after that. And blowing my own horn a little bit, I actually did do a little work on that.
Ah,
Wow.
I know.
I can't wait.
Now it's more important.
Yeah, I
to
can't
us.
wait to drop that nugget on my wife. Like I was on a Zoom call with a guy who did this in this movie.
Yeah,
she loves that movie.
It was one of the later scenes. Actually, I think it's when Will Ferrell actually, talks to James Caan out in the field or big area, and I think they had snow machines going and wind machines, and so it was much cheaper to hire me to get rid of the snow machines and the wind machines, and then bring the actors in to redo their lines.
Wow.
So yeah, I didn't work on. I probably worked on maybe 5 minutes total of the entire film, but I did work on it.
That's invisible art. I love that art. It's like you don't get to see.
I found it. Yeah, he's on IMDb. I see him here under the sound department. Yep.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Wow.
He wasn't lying.
I know you had to fact check
He'll be
him
our
live.
fact checker.
This is
Listen, Alex Jones, we're gonna fact check you right now.
he was officially dialogue denoising, uncredited.
Denoising.
Yeah. A term I made up myself. Thank you.
That's awesome.
Uncredited, huh?
Yeah.
And what does that mean?
As long
Yeah.
what does that mean?
That means you
That's
get
exactly
paid
what it
more, I
says.
hope.
Oh,
It just means when the credits roll, you don't see my name.
no, it's on IMDb though.
Well, yeah. I may put that in after it came out. I don't know.
No, there's plenty of uncredited, especially with cameos. Like if you see, if you got a movie and you're like, wow, he was in it, like in a passerby role, like you might see that it's uncredited, but it's a well-known actor who just was there that day or just was goofing around with the people on set.
As I often say, as long as the check clears, I really don't care.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And then does anybody have any cool Christmas gifts they're looking forward or excited to give? That's the other question. Can't always be the recipient. Sometimes you got one you're excited about to give.
Well, we
Gotta
can't
make
say what we're
sure-
going to give
I
if
know.
this is
Yes,
if this is going
24th.
to air like Christmas Eve.
Yeah, and
That's just-
and the person you're gifting your gift to, is going to listen on Christmas Eve immediately to this episode.
Or is within earshot down the hall.
Ooh,
There you go.
so I see. See, I've locked all my kids in closets so they can't hear anything right now. Not true. Also,
That's
this
a good
was
idea. I'll be right back.
10 days ago, so it's too late now. So
Actually, how about this? How about the best Christmas gift you ever got?
Oh,
oh, that's a good one.
if I don't remember right, I'm gonna get in trouble.
I have two.
Well, lead us off, get us inspired, so that way things can pop in our heads.
Okay. So before my wife and I got married, we were dating, but we were living apart, obviously. And I was up at my vacation home up in the mountains, and Elise came up to visit. And she came to the door, and this dog was with her. And she said, I don't know what's going on with this dog. It just was like, I was like traveling the neighborhood, and so I don't know, maybe it has tags. So I grabbed the dog and looked at the tags and says, "Merry Christmas, Todd. I'm your dog." Because I'd been talking for years about getting a dog.
Oh.
And just said, "Merry Christmas. I'm your dog."
Oh.
That's a good one.
That's
It was a really good one.
I don't think that ranks on the crappiness scale. That's definitely on the
No.
awesome
Well.
scale.
It's low on the crappiness scale.
And my second, boy, they're both having to do with my wife. My second was for Christmas. I think we were married maybe 5 years or so, and it had become a slight bone of contention that she hadn't taken my last name. So for Christmas, she gave me this little jewelry box, and inside it was her driver's license. And I said, "Well, what's this all about?" You know, I couldn't figure out what it was about. She goes, "Read it, read closer." And it said Elise Stearns Neeson. She hyphenated, but hey, it was still a great gift.
Wow.
That's both very creative. You married a creative woman, didn't you?
She is incredibly creative. Yes,
Wow.
yes. She puts
It's
me
like
to shame.
the holding out up front, and then that way you can,
Yeah, the big reveal.
yeah.
Who knows? Maybe at 25 years she'll drop the hyphenation. Did I ruin it?
Don't give me ideas, Tom.
Elise is probably going to be watching this, so you know.
A boy can
I'm
hope,
just saying.
right?
A boy can hope.
You guys see, I put my maiden name in my name.
Yep.
It's important to us.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, now that you've jogged my memory about spousal gifts, one of my favorite gifts my wife got me the second year we were together, it was a frying pan. It's like a $20 cast iron frying pan from Target. But I know it's going to sound weird, but like that frying pan has grown on me. And it's also it's the end of a lot of jokes. So I just have fallen in love with this frying pan because I'll just say, "Oh, like the time you got me a frying pan for Christmas," and just like it's no end of fun. What she didn't realize was that she was probably getting me like a whatever gift, but I have like grown to love this silly frying pan that I've carried with me for about a decade now. So that's definitely my favorite Christmas gift that I've gotten within the last like 15 years. So.
And if it's cast iron, and
It'll last, yeah, exactly.
It's gonna get better with age anyway. So
Yeah.
that's
Like your marriage.
Yes. It needs seasoning, of course, every once in a while.
Oh my goodness. We're riffing now.
I'm a dad of two young
Give
kids.
work.
Puns. That's what I can do.
Were the children's gifts. So last year, our son was 13 and a half, and we were not giving him a phone, not because he's not wonderful, but I hesitate to give anybody a phone. Now, our daughter had a phone a little earlier because she's a theater kid. And if you know that, they get out of rehearsals pretty late, and she couldn't drive, so she needed to call me. And for years I said, just grab someone else's phone and call me. But then of course I wouldn't recognize the number or not always get it. She got one a little bit earlier. So he's a little bit more prone to lose things and drop things. So I just held off till Christmas, and then we packed it in a big box. So he had no idea, because he's one of these rattler people, he likes to rattle everything. So by the time he got down to it, it was in a shoe box, and he thought he got a new pair of shoes. And we have it on camera, and it's just my old iPhone, but believe me, he thought it was awesome.
That's awesome.
But I have to tell you, I said, if you do good and you can keep this, you don't lose it, you don't break it. will think about, upgrading. But he took it upon himself this year because he did a lot of chores, and he actually bought himself an iPhone 12.
Wow.
himself. Yeah.
Some
That's
chores.
awesome.
Yeah, he does a lot of chores, and he gets a little bit of he gets money for chores too. We don't do allowance much, but so that's one. And then two was the year that our friend brought the Christmas puppy in for our daughter.
Wow.
I mean, that's just the sweetest thing I've ever seen in my life, is a child that wants a dog and gets a dog. It's just the sweetest thing you ever saw.
And how old was your daughter at that time?
She's probably 10.
She was 10 when she got the dog?
Yeah, we had just lost our two Brittany's. They were old. They had just aged out. And so, we didn't have any. And she was like, I want a puppy. And my husband arranged it all. And he went down, he drove down to Louisiana or something from Virginia to get this dog.
But
then he had a friend bring it.
And how did that go? Just bring it to the door, or how did you gift it to your daughter?
They just acted like they were visiting, and they had the dog with it was a Brittany, and had a little bow and a collar, and the wife, actually, I forget her name now, she handed the dog to our daughter, and she's just like, oh, this is so good, I love this little puppy, it smells so good. And then she says, it's your puppy. I'm like, oh my god, she starts crying.
Oh.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
so yeah, Coco was her name. She passed away early, but we do have puppies. She had a tragic death. She got out and got hurt, got killed. So yeah.
You should probably edit that part out, Joe.
Yeah,
I think we're right up, boys.
I'll just insert a joke and just be like, "Oh, everybody gets puppies.
Sorry,
I get a
I
frying
just can't
pan."
talk about her in present tense. I'm
Wah,
sorry.
wah, wah.
We do have Cookie and Pepper. They're healthy.
For now.
For now.
Oh gosh, yes.
All good things.
No. So, looking forward to 2021, what are we hoping for? Because I think that's the only place we haven't hit.
I'm excited for different guests. Gabe and Toby and Erica are hosts, and they have gotten their questioning and listening and the thread of the stories so well done. And in an hour, they can just dig into a person that might be outside of Unity, and then explain our principles, and then have a amazing discussion. So, I mean, I took a list. Like, I would love Justin Amash to be on our podcast. I would like. Do y'all know who Zuby is?
Oh yeah,
Zuby.
Mm-hmm.
Know the name. Yeah.
I would love for him to be on our podcast. Jocko would be fun.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah, that's a Kimberly get right there.
Yeah.
and Andrew Yang, come on, who wouldn't? And Tulsi.
Oh.
Like, these are my dream.
yeah.
Well, I mean, we did a lot in 5 months? However long it's been, 6 months. We got, keep the momentum going.
Yeah.
Who's to say?
We have a whole year this year. We have the whole of 2021 to work on it. And plus, we don't ever have to write 2020 again. That's the thing that I'm looking forward to. Just like checks, dating things, anything. Every time I write 2020, I'm like, it's been a year. I cannot wait to write 2021.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys caught it yesterday morning. It was before 8 a.m. So sometime, like in India and then all over the country, all of Google went down.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
So everything, YouTube TV, Hangouts, their entire service, Gmail. And then the funniest thing I saw was on Twitter. Somebody said, not being able to Google why Google is down is exactly what 2020 is all about. And then they had like the Google site that was failed and all that. But yeah, I think I would. This is going to sound weird, but I would look forward the possibility of us not needing this podcast because the world is, America has figured itself out. But we probably don't think that's going to happen anytime, at least not quickly. So hopefully we can get through the inauguration that time, whoever it might be, because I can even mention that. I'm going to get that flag on this video. But, if you listen to the right places, people still say there's a chance that Trump still can pull this out somehow. But hopefully, if it's Biden and that finishes out that way, then we can get past that point as a country without anything major happening. And maybe we can get past the pandemic and, we can restore some sense of normality and businesses can get back to serving people indoors and that sort of thing. That's what I'm hopeful for, at least.
Yeah, that'd be great. Just hopeful obsolescence is is like it was same thing with when I was working with my church. Is that I was like, yeah, I'll help do your live stream and I'll help set up all this stuff for you, but hopefully you won't need me in 2 months. And then I'd say that again in 2 months and 2 months, and so hopefully it won't be the case. But if not, we're here like a crazy Justice League, ready to do a podcast.
This is either going to be really easy work where we figure ourselves out, and I hope Toby's wish comes true, or if it's going to be a long slog, and we have moderation and momentum, which I like about our podcast. My favorite part of 2020 or 2021 is going to be seeing you guys in January and figuring out what we're going to do for the year and how we can best serve. I love Tuesdays because I get to see you guys.
Oh,
same. It's a meeting I look forward to plenty. And yeah, I think just being as isolated as it is, it doesn't always occur to me in the moments that I'm feeling like most isolated until maybe I'll have a meeting. Usually on Mondays I have a book club that I've been doing more recently, so that's kind of tacked on a little bit of momentum at the start of the week. But having these Tuesdays and sometimes Sunday afternoons really like just pulls me in, makes me feel connected more so than usual. So it's been definitely a positive spin on an otherwise pretty bleh year.
blah.
Well, it's been a challenge for sure and blah, but it hasn't been uninteresting.
Oh, definitely not.
No.
Like, and I feel like it's accelerating. That's why I'm like, 2021, because like you said, it's we got the vaccines rolling out. So I'm in Michigan right now. So we have a big Pfizer plant on the west side of the state, and so like media is just like all over the trucks, just rolling out.
yeah.
So that's like that's hopeful, going on. But also we have like Antrim County up north, which is where a lot of the election problems happened. So there's like everybody's kind of, if you're in a red county, you're kind of like focusing on that, and then everybody's also just kind of like, hey, let's just have the holidays and just not think about any of this. So it's pretty wild, but I'm glad that we have, or at least I was invited in now again to participate in this, because Tuesdays are great. Like, it reminds me that not only we're working on something meaningful, but also that there's other people across the country who also want to work on something meaningful and not just burn it all down or ignore it. So I think that's a really positive thing that happens every week. That's great.
Yeah, it's the people that have kept me in, because I actually thought, when we went on pause, I was like, so do I go on pause? And I just couldn't see not working with you all, because we have purpose, mission, we bring value, we create content. Whenever Unity 2.0 wants, to reappear, we're here. Or if Unity 2.0 doesn't want to reappear, we are here. Like, we're doing something that is necessary. And I've told you all before in private, this is the biggest thing I've ever worked on. And most profound and daunting.
Which is saying a lot from somebody like you that's started companies and helped other people start companies. That's a big deal.
World record in shooting guns.
National record.
National records. All right.
I can't take that from
Now they're world records.
Fair.
my comrades there that are world record holders.
Has anybody listened to the most recent Sam Harris podcast, where he has the guy that leads? I think it's called Effective Altruism.
Yeah, Will McCaskill. I haven't listened to it yet.
Yeah,
but
Just came out.
Nope.
So I'm getting to answer your question, Joe. One of the things that he was saying was that there are different ways to be altruistic and to feel like you're making a difference in the world. One is giving money, giving of your resources that way. One is going into a field that you find that can change the world. And then the third is getting involved with organizations that you feel are making a difference in the world. Maybe not getting paid for it, but you're involved with it. And certainly that's what Unity, this podcast, is for me. When I was listening to that, and sometimes I feel down. It's like, how much am I doing? Like, what am I doing? And I, listened to that, and I heard him say that. And I thought, well, and one of the things is like, you need to find something that you're passionate about. It doesn't do you any good, and it doesn't energize you to like, donate your time to something that, might be worthy, but you don't, you don't have any skin in the game. And I think because I feel so passionate about getting this country to talk to each other again and stop fighting, that this feels like a way of being altruistic with my time. And so that's what I'm looking forward to in 2021, is getting more involved and doing whatever I can to make this thing happen.
That's beautiful, Todd.
Well said.
Yeah.
Oh, and scene.
Yeah, I was going to say, can't think of a better way to end. Yeah. To find more conversations and content like this, be sure to subscribe to UnityNow on all major podcasting platforms. If you prefer video format, you'll find our channel with full episodes and clips on YouTube. Thank you for listening in. This has been Unity Now. Bye.